This episode is about Crohn's disease. It's also about the war. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Two Honks podcast, where every time a honk sings, an angel gets its wings. My name is Joe Little, and sitting here across from me this time is Lamar Costin. How are you this evening, Lamar? Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's nice and chilled down a little bit out here. We're outside right now.
We are doing this differently.
Explain that to the
to
our listeners that we're actually not in the garage right now.
We're not in the garage.
We're outside of the garage.
It is June in Portland, Oregon, and I know to a lot of people Portland, Oregon is not a very hot place, but this summer it is a roastin'.
Should we talk about the weather for a little bit?
We're talking about a hot one here.
People want to hear about the weather.
I think I want to hear about the weather. I think, okay, so what are we supposed to get? Like 111 degrees this weekend or something?
They're talking
like that?
some numbers. They're talking some desert numbers.
We're talking about triple digits.
I thought we were in a rainforest.
Yeah. Well, I just came from the hills. I was just up camping on Mount St. Helens.
Yeah.
And we had to record this a little bit late this week because you weren't able to make it out there.
I couldn't make it.
Lamar's dealing with a sick cat at home, and
Yeah. Cat had to go in to see the cat doc. So
cat had to see the cat doc. What you gonna do?
what can you really do about it?
So I think this was gonna be this episode initially was gonna be a do it for the kids part 2 kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
Wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, it wasn't in the cards. So now we're doing a podcast in my backyard. The very nice breeze going on out here.
It's a little chilly, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
I'm a little surprised here.
I wonder if this is going to affect the sound quality at all. I'm not talking as loud as I normally talk, just because
Right.
there's neighbors and stuff.
Neighbors around.
They have to deal with listening to me.
I mean, they just heard our beautiful music. So
Yeah, it was very beautiful.
was.
How long have you been playing? How long have you been a recorder virtuoso, Lamar?
I'm self-taught.
Yeah.
Want to get that out of the way right now. A lot of people take that in elementary school or something.
Yeah.
I wish I had taken it, but I actually picked it up. I think I was about 27
Okay.
when I picked it up. Got one of the not the dollar store, the Goodwill or whatever.
Yeah.
Started soprano like everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a tenor recorder. That was an alto I just played.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like the timbre of the alto.
Yeah.
I have a wooden alto also that has a really nice texture to it.
I learned recorder in elementary school, and I don't remember anything about recorder.
Yeah.
So do you feel like if you had learned recorder in elementary school, you'd be better at it right now?
I think so. A lot of people don't know this also, that flute and recorder have the same fingering.
Oh, really?
So I got a used flute
But doesn't flute have like the thumb thing?
This has a thumb thing. It does. Oh no, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. It does have the one. Okay.
Yeah,
Never mind,
I think
never
it's
mind.
almost identical. So I got a flute when I started playing a recorder, and I could play a little bit of flute too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Flute's bullshit though, because it's like you have to do that pursed thing with your lips,
Yeah.
and it's like I never quite got it down, so I hate it.
Well, flute is more of a respected instrument.
Yeah, I think recorder is not really thought of as it's like a toy.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what's happening, I usually have the soundboard here.
Yeah.
Some of it's apparently still loading, so they're women moaning. That's not.
That was a really good sample, though.
It was a good one.
I would love to meet the individual who supplied that audio clip for the
Yeah. That was
for
pretty
the human
convincing.
emotion thing.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What's going on? What's going down here? I think somebody was just driving by.
Oh,
music
okay.
Or whatever.
It's a different world out here.
It's a different world when you do it outside.
We're used to being kind of protected in our little bubble
Yeah, yeah,
in our studio.
yeah.
And now we're out here like mixing it with the real people.
Yeah, we're mixing it with society
We're
now.
in the elements right now, you could say.
That is, it is us against the elements at this point.
Do you think it's all out war at this point?
I think so.
Feels like it.
I think the grid's going down. What do you think? Do you think the grid's going down?
I don't know. You know? If the grid goes down, will we move to circles?
World's gonna go. Okay.
Will
so
we get circular?
if we become circular?
If we're less gridded,
Yeah.
I would imagine maybe more oval shape.
So if we're not in a grid and we're oval shaped, does that mean that we're gonna be
Eggheads?
separated from one another? Because circles are singular, you know.
What if they overlap though?
Well, then you got like a Venn diagram.
Like those spirographs?
Because you still got the two individuals, right? You just have little cross sections.
Oh,
you
okay.
know?
Yeah.
So if we go circular, we're isolated.
Like capsules, kind of like aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guess we'll
But-
find out next week, huh? Or this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this weekend we'll find out if the grid goes down. I mean, I always thought of it as if the grid goes down,
Yeah.
it's more horizontal than it is vertical. So maybe equality will finally be achieved if the grid goes down.
I think that's the goal. I
Maybe
mean,
that's a good thing.
you always think it's going to be later
Yeah.
than it really is.
Yeah.
And then it just happens and the grid's down.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, where'd my grid go?
So if the grid is vertical,
Yeah.
there's no equality there
Right.
because you have different layers of the grid.
Right.
But if
and
the grid
we're-
goes down,
if
and it's horizontal.
If it lays down,
if it lays down,
it doesn't sleep, but if it lays down maybe for like a siesta,
yeah,
yeah,
then maybe you're like finally on an equal plane,
then we're free.
which is what we've wanted this entire time.
Yeah. We're free of the capitalist monarch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they say?
That's what we've wanted at the Two Honks podcast this entire time. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Maybe this weekend.
maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
Do you think that we can make the grid go down?
I mean, I think we could.
Is that something that we're capable of?
I think if I get,
You think Joe Biden wants the grid to go down?
I think he might have a hand in it. Yeah.
He might have a hand.
I think we could do it. If
Yeah.
everybody turns on all of their devices at the same time when it hits 111 here
Yeah.
or 112 or whatever, then we can probably take this whole system down.
Yeah. That'd be fascinating.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I would watch it on TV
Yeah.
from my home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
from the comfort of my home. I was actually thinking it's going to be so hot in my apartment. I'm predicting like over 100 degrees inside my apartment. I'm thinking about bringing my tent out and just camping among the houseless
Yeah.
for a couple nights.
Just camping with the homeless people in
Yeah.
downtown Portland.
Because, I mean, I could just camp on the sidewalk right outside my
That's actually a
place.
really good idea, but it's only a really good idea if you film it and put it on YouTube.
Yeah,
Because if you don't do that, then there's no point, right?
right.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think that's a bad idea, Lamar.
I could do it. I thought about it
then I felt kind of bad because there are people that are camped on that street because they don't have a hot house to go to. I have a hot house.
Yeah.
But it's too hot for me to be in.
But it's going to be more comfortable for you to sleep in a tent outside than it would be to...
Yeah. It's kind of strange. That is an option. You know, camping is like totally open anywhere in the city, so... Yeah. I could probably go into Forest Park, too, if I wanted to, but I was going to bring Sheila, my cat, down into the tent with me on the sidewalk and just hang out, watch movies. Bring the projector out and just put it up on the side of the building.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, you'd probably have some friends to watch a movie with. I mean,
watch Family Guy.
The homeless folks hanging out there on the street, they probably want to watch the movie, too.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Watch Family Guy.
Yeah, watch Family Guy.
Just all of it.
Have you guys seen Family Guy?
Have you ever seen the show Family Guy? Let's watch.
It's so random.
Let's watch the whole thing.
It's so great, and it's so random.
It's random, and that's why it's funny, is because it's so random.
Have you ever heard of it? I hope you've heard of it.
So we should welcome any new listeners to the show, and thank you for listening. We actually just hit 500 downloads.
500 downloads.
That's a number.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, that's actually a real number.
Applause to us right there.
Yeah, imagine some applause there.
Yeah, imagine that people are applauding us.
We're pretty pleased with that, and we thank you for checking it out. We have some pretty interesting topics here tonight.
Yeah,
to discuss.
We have a few.
I just kind of wanted to quickly thank our sponsor, Tank Flaps.
Yep.
That if anybody's new to this show, basically they're little clip-ons for your tank top that keep your shoulders warm.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, you think about it, and you know how many times you've been wearing a tank top, you're hanging out with some friends around a fire.
Right.
Your shoulders get a little bit cold, and you don't want to go out of your way to go out to the car and put on a t-shirt.
Right.
To cover up your shoulders. No, you don't. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, that's a huge hassle.
So that's where tank flaps come in. They fit in your pocket.
Yeah.
You can clip them on to your tank top.
It takes seconds, literally.
And they cover up your shoulders, and they keep your shoulders warm.
Yeah.
We've talked about a few interesting developments.
Yeah, they come in a huge variety of colors.
Yeah. Large variety of shapes of stones and different kinds of stones that you can attach to your tank flaps.
That's a little like kind of additional attachment to it.
Yeah, but now they have something even better going on.
Yeah, and I actually this happened to me. I was wearing my tank flaps, and I was driving here for the podcast.
Yeah, and you've been having car issues recently.
The tank flaps have been great, and I keep them on all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't aware. They have a little pull string. You can draw them up like drapes.
Yeah.
If you don't want to take them off, but it gets hot again.
Yeah.
So I had them on, and I was driving here. I've been having car problems. I stopped to get my kombucha.
Yeah.
Right? And I go to start my car, and I'm literally like, half a mile from your house at this point.
Yeah.
Car wouldn't start. Dead battery.
Really?
And I was just like, man, this is awkward. You know, we're kind of in a pandemic still.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to like find somebody to help me jump my car.
Mm-hmm.
So I remembered like I'd read something in a forum. I can't remember. It was on some forum I was reading about tank flaps. Somebody mentioned that they thought that tank flaps...
Huge community behind tank flaps now.
There's a lot going on that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
But there was some discussion that these tank flaps can actually... serve as a battery jump starter.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I remember you had mentioned that they were maybe working on like a beer koozie attachment.
Yeah, and the jump starting system.
Just dangles from your arm.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't even dangle.
Right.
It's just in there. You don't even know that it's there. You don't even understand it necessarily.
Right.
But if you pull up the underside of your little tank flap, you'll see a red and a blue cable.
Right.
You can attach that to a car battery.
Right, yeah.
You can jumpstart a car.
You have to make sure you're using the left flap connects to the positive.
Yes, and the right flap.
If you get it mixed up, they said something you might die.
Yeah, you will die.
You will die.
You will definitely be murdered by tank flaps if you mix that up. So don't get that wrong.
Right.
But it's very simple, left side left, right side right. That's all you need to remember. It's all
left side's down.
You just pull them down. You do the thing.
So I did it, and I was just like, oh my God, these tank flaps saved this podcast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it here in time. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
I was like,
they helped you jumpstart your car. And this actually, I got the green light from Tank Flaps. I started to mention this a little bit on last week's episode.
Okay.
I got the green light from Tank Flaps to talk about the refrigeration system.
Okay.
Because the jumper cable system that you're talking about here, it plays in perfectly to the refrigeration system.
This is an addition, like a thing you can add on, basically?
You can add it on. So Tank Flaps has now they're offering you the opportunity to get tank flap koozies. So tank flap koozies, they hook up to the positive and the negative on your left and your right shoulder.
Oh, okay.
They plug into the koozie, and they keep your drink cold during the hot days.
That's incredible.
So even if you got your tank clip, is your tank flap just pulled up with the little drawstring, it's not covering your shoulder.
Right.
It's just like wearing a tank top. You can still have your drink hanging right there, staying cool in the hot sun. And I think I truly think this is what America needs right now.
Yeah,
I think,
and you can. I mean, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I'm guessing you can probably charge your phone on that too.
Yeah, no, you can definitely charge your phone. They don't have
it's a game changer.
They don't have the iPhone hookup yet. They don't have the USB-C hookup yet. They do, however, have the mini USB set up, so you can plug in your mini USB devices to charge.
Wow! And how
to your tank flaps?
How is this powered? It kind of boggles the mind. Is it some kind of like new energy?
So there's a 130-pound battery you have to wear on your back.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a fucking huge battery.
Yeah.
It's really gonna.
It's like one of those hybrid car batteries.
But the other advantage is you're gonna get really strong.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
I mean, you can dwell on the negative if you want to be.
Yeah.
A negative.
I mean, if you want negative things to happen in your life, you can just whine about the 130-pound battery on your back.
Yeah.
Or you can say, "Hey, my drinks are cool,
and I'm getting stronger."
That's the other thing that you can do.
You're damn straight.
There's too much negativity in this country. That's why America needs tank flaps.
That's what we're about.
Yeah, exactly.
So check them out. You can buy them pretty much in any store now, I believe. So
yeah, I mean tankflaps.com. Use the code 2honks now to get 20% off your first pair of tank flaps.
Yeah.
Please make sure to get them in the persimmon color.
Or puce.
Puce. That's my favorite color.
Yeah.
Puce. But anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. What you gonna do? So there was a couple other things.
Yeah.
We can't talk about tank flaps all night, obviously.
I mean, we could, but we
could, but we choose not to. You had another interesting thing you were bringing to the table here, Lamar, tonight. So let's go ahead and segue to you.
Well, so I went to a silent disco.
Yeah.
On Sunday. It was pretty sweet. Actually had J Flip there from the Dirty Bird label.
Oh wow, the Dirty Bird.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I ran into a friend there that was attending a different music event at the exact same part on the other side of the park.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of invited me to come check it out, if I wanted to, like, in between or whatever. I never... gotta get it out. I was going to do save for later.
Yeah.
I didn't make it over there, but they described it as conscious hip-hop.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I've heard this term conscious thrown around a bit with different genres, like conscious folk, I know.
I already have a problem with.
Yeah.
Because isn't all music conscious music? Don't you have to be conscious to be playing music?
I mean, I can imagine some music that's like super derivative.
Yeah.
Like really poppy, like kind of like not just formulaic or whatever, kind of like
Fashion forward.
Yeah, fashion forward music.
Fashion forward hip hop.
That might be more like zombie style or whatever.
Zombie pop.
I just thought it was funny because like the first time I heard that was from this girl that I kind of knew that was playing conscious folk music.
Yeah.
And like the way she said it made me not want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because it was just kind of like
so
putting her nose up a little bit.
Conscious folk music. Can you think of any artists that would be considered conscious folk music?
I think they're kind of like not earth centered, but like, what do you call it? Like, what's the word everybody uses now for like enlightened or whatever? Who is that?
Train honks and the neighbor's dog.
This is what the outside's like, huh?
Yeah, this is what the outside world is like.
It's kind of wild out here. Oh, like woke, because like kind of a woke culture.
Yeah,
is kind of the people that I know are using these terms, but
okay,
it seems kind of it's just a little bit highfalutin, maybe.
Yeah,
it seems a little bit like kind of like speaking down.
Okay. So
I don't know. Well, what about other kinds of consciousness?
So like I mean. So these are basically people just that feel that they have the right to call themselves conscious?
Maybe because it's like positive?
Yeah.
Maybe it's positive music instead of being like put down music?
So like what is conscious hip hop? They're like, don't call people the N-word. Like, is that what they're rapping about? Like, it's like...
It's all, yeah, maybe. See, I should have gone over to check it out. Now I have to go to one of these events so that I can like try to figure out.
My body, my choice. Don't call people the N-word. Yeah.
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 I don't know. That's what I'm imagining right now.
I want to go to a subconscious
hip-hop
show.
A subconscious hip-hop show.
I want to get deeper.
Like, I don't even think... If subconscious hip-hop, I don't even think that would be at a venue.
Subconscious?
Like a subconscious
Well, you
hip-hop
wouldn't even
show.
know it, would you?
You would have to go to your subconscious to go to this show.
Maybe, yeah. Like, what about unconscious? If it was unconscious hip-hop,
dude, we should host a subconscious podcast, man.
Yeah.
Let's do that, man.
Subcon?
Let's post about it, you know? It's like, just get that shit online and just be like, hey, we're going to be putting on a show in your subconscious.
Yeah. Tune in.
Yeah, tune in. First live Two Honks podcast in your mind.
Yeah.
In your mind.
Collective consciousness?
Yeah, in our collective subconsciousness.
Selective subconscious music.
Okay, so I'm beefing with something that I know nothing about.
Yeah, me either.
And you've been right next to it a little bit more than I have. So maybe you know more.
I've heard about it for a couple of years now.
Yeah, well maybe you know more, but like that is my ultimate beef with this. It's like what gives these people the idea, the spontaneity to be able to say, "Hey, I am conscious."
Do you think
I am conscious of things that matter to the whole world? Like that, there's a lot of ego in that.
It seems
to say I make conscious hip hop, that's a lot of ego in that. Am I wrong?
Do you think it's synonymous with woke? That they're like,
yeah, I'm
not an automaton.
Well, I mean, but like what wokeness itself is like a good thing, you know? Because you think about,
is it like communism? Like in theory, it's a good thing.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, because I mean, wokeness is on the side of progressiveness, right? Like everybody's trying to be progressive.
Maybe so.
But sometimes the people that are so intensely woke end up being extremely non-progressive.
Yeah.
Because they're actively seeking out things from the past that weren't woke.
Right.
You know, so that's not progressive.
Or they're trying to start a fight or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're just trying to prove they're better than other people. That's not good.
Yeah.
But like the core ideas of wokeness are a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's true.
You know, but I'm never going to be, you know,
Joe Rogan, the woke army's trying to cancel everybody. Like I'm not preaching that by any means, but I will say right now that the woke thing has made some pretty critical mistakes.
Right.
You know, just by, you know, actively seeking out things that weren't woke in the past. It's like, well, yes, we can learn from them.
Yeah.
But we don't need to pursue our whole lives of shutting that shit down, you know.
I'm like, this just popped into my head when we were at What the Festival.
Yeah.
And I won't mention her name, but you were playing a set with her.
Yes.
Accompanying her. And
yes.
We were at a electronic music festival, and they had a few like live instrument bands, right?
Like, and I think there was maybe 2 or 3 bands other than us.
Yeah. So we were playing in this like
that weren't DJs.
Playing in the Shinto lounge, which was kind of like a little bit more of a woke atmosphere. They had tea and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just remember like when she introduced the set, you were standing there playing guitar or whatever, and she was like, to the audience, she was like, "You guys ready to hear some real music?" And it was just like, wow, like you really that's kind of the impression that I get from people who are like pushing this conscious thing. It's like, do you want to hear something that's conscious?
Do you want to hear something that maybe the government is afraid to tell you? That's exactly what they sound like to me.
Do you want to hear something real, man?
Because, like, at a certain point, it sounds exactly the same thing as the paranoid conservative that lives in the desert somewhere. I'm trying to get off the grid, man. The government's out to get me, man.
They don't want you to know this.
I don't own a smartphone, man. You think you find me on Instagram, man? No, I'm on Facebook, man.
I'm Bill Maher. I ride a skateboard.
Still grounded, by the way. He's still grounded.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But, yeah, dude, it ends up sounding like the exact same thing. You want to hear some real shit, man? Listen to my shit.
Well, that's a key component of the ego itself, is that it knows something that somebody doesn't know. Like, it's always a key that somebody's dipping into their ego when they're, like, telling secrets or, like, I know something, like, nobody else knows this. Like, come here, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Or even if it's like shouting it out, it's like, you think you know something that other people don't, you're probably not aware that other people are aware too.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not as aware that they're aware. I don't know.
Yeah, man, it's interesting.
It's kind of a trip.
It's kind of a trip. There's a whole spectrum though, you know. It's like because the stereotypical idea of a woke person that just like wants to be out there in the world canceling everything, that individual doesn't really exist. You know, there's no one individual that just is the quintessential woke person. It's just a summation of ideas.
Right. It's kind of
that all come together. It's like, well, this person did something stupid, and this person did something stupid, and that person did something stupid. So collectively, they make the fucking most ridiculous person in the entire world.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but there's no space for nuance anymore. You know, everybody just like collects all this information constantly, and they're just like, oh, I'm just going to generalize this group of people in this one way.
Oh, I can write you off. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I can write you off. Whatever. Oh. Shit, you voted for Trump? Let me just write you off right now.
Yeah.
But, like, that shouldn't be the case, you know?
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, that's part of the reason why I brought up this conscious hip-hop thing, because it's kind of like conscious folk, conscious whatever, conscious punk music, whatever it is. It's like, what does that mean? And, like, to me, it rubs me the wrong way, but that's probably my own.
Yeah.
That's my own projection or whatever, because maybe I'm looking to start a fight.
Well, like, I think
it's conscious. How about my fist?
How about you listen to my subconscious podcast, mother?
We're not subconscious. We're with Sub Pop.
We got signed to Sub Pop.
Yeah.
We're a subconscious.
We don't even have tweeters, bro.
We don't even have tweeters, dude. You want to find me on Twitter? Good luck. Idiot.
I'll see you on the subs. Idiot. Freaking idiot.
Freaking idiot, dude. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, you were saying, I don't know I wasn't sure if you were ready to switch over here, but
yeah, I'm ready.
You said that you had a great story that you were going to tell.
Yeah.
But you said you forgot it.
So yeah, no, it was actually really great. I had an epiphany the other night. I'm gonna stand up again.
Okay.
Because I'm outside. I'm doing this differently now.
You're just feeling a little different.
I'm just feeling a little bit different.
Okay.
The other night, right? I'm out camping, and we were. So this was the second night of camping. First night of camping, I was so exhausted, and I just went to bed early. Everybody else stayed up a little bit late, partied, did whatever.
Yeah.
And Sarah came to bed later. So the second night, I was like, I'm gonna stay up late. I'm gonna stay up late so I can hang out with Sarah and hang out with everybody else and just kind of have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed up pretty late, and it was about 11 o'clock when everybody else went to sleep. So then Sarah and I got to hang out by the fire by ourselves, which is really nice. We don't get too many opportunities to do stuff like that. So we got to chat. You know, we walked out to the road. We looked at the moon and stuff a little bit.
Nice.
So it was a very inspirational kind of landscape to be in.
Yeah, pretty quiet out there probably.
But then when we go back to the fire, at this point it's about 1 a.m. I opened myself another drink. I was like, I'm just going to enjoy this fire for a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
The words I told Sarah was, I'm feeling spicy tonight.
Oh, shit.
I'm feeling spicy tonight.
Damn.
And she was like, okay. She was like, well, I am so tired. I need to go lay down. So she goes back to the van. She lays down because we bought a van.
Right.
As we've said in previous episodes.
You're a van owner.
We are van owners now. But anyway, so she goes to pass out, and I sat out there by the fire by myself for probably about another 30 to 40 minutes. And as I looked at the sky out there, I had just the most profound, just funny, and just straight up fantastic podcast idea.
Okay.
And it was so great.
That sounds amazing, yeah.
And as I walked triumphantly toward the van, I was like, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to text that to myself. I'm going to type it down.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure that we get to use this idea for the podcast. And then I woke up the next morning. I had not texted myself the idea, and I completely forgot what I had even thought about.
Really?
But I do know that it was a great idea. So,
okay. That's something.
As a summation of that experience, what I wanted to talk about was forgetfulness.
Yeah.
Forgetfulness. How many times have you come across something fantastic in your life that has soon been squandered by your own forgetfulness? Go.
Yeah. Well,
what do you got for me?
My first thought was like every time I've ever done nitrous.
Yeah.
I figure out everything that the fabric of the universe is consisted of, and I laugh because it's so funny that we all take it so seriously when it's like kind of this silly thing.
Yeah.
But then 10 seconds later, it's gone. There's not even like a trail. Like it's not even like a little rope hanging down for me to grab.
So do you think that you when you do nitrous, do you think that maybe you break everything down to a super molecular level in a really quick fashion, or what do you think happens?
I honestly think that from my own experience with similar substances,
yeah,
it's an anesthetic dissociative, so it kind of like it removes your sensory input, so you're kind of left with just whatever's in your mind, your consciousness. There's no more input coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get to a certain point. And at that point is kind of this, void where, nothing really exists.
Yeah.
But with nitrous, if you're on that edge, you kind of get that, that...
So does that feeling...
echoing sound or whatever?
Does that feeling have any kind of, visceral feel? Like something that you could actually describe? Like what the body feeling of that might be? Or is that hard to explain?
I don't really think there is one for me. I mean,
yeah.
the absence of it is maybe where the truth comes in.
So it's more about the absence of feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what I came to a conclusion about it is that it kind of gives you maybe a glimpse of what it would be like to be dead or to be almost dead, to in that window of time where you're almost dead.
Yeah.
Where you're withdrawing away from the world instead of our sensory neurons are always looking for input. We're on alert all the time. We're receiving and processing all kinds of stuff. When you stop all that, there's kind of this peacefulness that's there. That's it's oh, this is actually really simple. Like life and reality is actually really simple. But because of our perceptions, we kind of create this cacophony of interrelations, and that's what reality is. That's the emergence of everything interacting with everything else, and that's what we're doing now, which is total insanity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fun part and the terrible things of life.
Well, and the only thing that makes it totally insane is because everybody's surmising these conclusions from their own individual experience. So I grew up in a different household than you grew up in. So therefore, I'm going to have a different perspective on the way the world needs to operate than you do.
Right.
So the emergence behind that is a collection of ideas like myself and yours and our neighbors and anybody else around us. Everybody looking at the world differently all the time.
Right.
Creates these systems around us that kind of, in a certain way, create chaos. Would you call them chaos, or would you call it something else?
Yeah, I mean, we all have our own. We all have our own consensus reality. Each of us is basically a society of organisms within itself, and it is insane that we can even talk about these things because they're totally different for you. They're totally different for everybody.
Well, it's just because we're, as a woke person would say, hey, check your privilege.
Yeah.
Check your privilege as a species in general, because we have an advanced enough communication system and language to even be able to communicate these complex ideas, you know? Emergence in human society is a lot more complicated than emergence in a group of ants or a group of monkeys or something like that, because they operate on a much more primitive level.
Right.
But this is the other interesting thing about that is what is a primitive level? To me, a society of deer seems like a primitive thing. Yeah. But who's to say that those deer aren't looking back at us and being like, what the fuck? What are they doing? Why are they making everything so complicated?
Yeah.
We're so much more advanced than them. Is it a perspective thing, or are we actually better,
I think it is, perspective thing. That's maybe where psychedelics can give us a different perspective too, because I don't know, for me, I always come out of those experiences thinking we try so hard all the time to do stuff, and we get in our own way by doing that. If we could just be more simple, a lot of those things would drop out and get out of our way. But we kind of by constantly being in motion and busy, we're actually putting things in our own way.
Yeah.
So in that way, we are kind of maybe a little bit more primitive, or less primitive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of a.
Well, and just because we're talking about forgetfulness here, the other thing would be, do you think, let's just take a deer, for example.
Yeah.
So let's drag this out as much as we possibly can, because in a true podcast format.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning, what's your system? Let's say for the first hour of your day, what's your system?
What's my system?
Yeah.
My order of things?
Yeah, your typical morning. For the first hour, right after you wake up.
Kind of getting up, getting some tea going.
Yeah.
Usually hop in the shower, come out, make a little food, have some tea.
Okay.
Kind of sit down, maybe do a little yoga or catch up on some news, maybe play a little chess.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a free time.
Do you? So what's the most crucial part of that? Probably the most crucial part of that is drinking some tea to get a little bit of caffeine, wake yourself up.
If I was to whittle away other aspects, I'd probably take it down to tea and maybe shower.
Okay.
Those are my wake up. That's my wake up strategy.
So speaking of forgetfulness, is there ever times that maybe you find yourself a little bit urgent in the morning and maybe you forget to drink your tea?
It's happened.
that's definitely happened to me.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's forgetful as much as like if I'm in a hurry, I have to start cutting things away.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a rush, I'm not gonna have time to do that.
Okay.
But I'm generally not really in a rush. Because I got my tank flaps. Now I know I can start cars.
Yeah.
I'm not really like gonna be frazzled by anything.
And your tank flaps solve everything.
Yeah, and plus people are complimenting me all the time on them. So
exactly. So let's say, okay, so now we've got that catalog. So let's say that I am a deer, and I have a couple of small fawn that I take care of.
Yeah.
You know, let's say I'm a doe in the woods. And the first thing in the morning with my fawn the most important thing is to make sure that they are safe from any imminent danger.
Yeah.
You know? Like I have to make sure that they're safe from everything around them. Now let's say that one morning I'm a doe and I forget to make sure they are safe from any imminent danger when you're out there in the woods against the elements.
Right, probably busy checking your phone or something.
Yeah, exactly. If I was just forget that, out in the elements like that, you would lose everything.
Probably, yeah.
Because I mean, it's a dog eat dog world, right?
You can't make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, you can't make those kinds of mistakes when you're living a primitive lifestyle. So maybe, just maybe, that points to our society being more advanced than a primitive animal, right? Because we get to be forgetful.
Right.
You know,
we have the luxury.
If I miss a meal first thing in the morning, if I don't check on something in the morning, it doesn't ruin my entire life.
Right.
But for that deer that forgets to check on its children in the morning, everything is over.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a buffer. But how valuable is that buffer? How good is it that we get to be forgetful?
How good is it?
I don't know. Honestly, it's pretty fucking sweet, if you're asking me. It's
pretty dope.
I think it's pretty dope.
But when you were mentioning the doe, all I could think of for most of the time you were talking was, and I want the listeners to know this if they're not aware of this.
Yeah.
Mares eat oats, and does eat oats, and little lambs eat ivy. A kid will eat ivy too, wouldn't you?
Oh, okay.
So
it's special.
Yeah, I just want people to remember that.
Just remember that. But I don't know. Do you, the listener? I'm talking to you right now because this podcast is about you.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It doesn't have anything to do.
We're doing this to make you happy.
With me at all.
Yeah.
I want you to be happy. Okay.
Right.
But anyway, you, the listener, I want you to write us twohonkspodcast@gmail.com. Do you think that we are more advanced than primitive animals, or are those primitive animals generally happier and better off than we are?
Is this all just a bunch of bullshit?
Because it's pretty up for debate at this point.
When you look at it, it kind of seems like it might be a bunch of bullshit.
I think it might be
everything that is happening.
Yeah.
You know?
I think society's bullshit.
You think society's bullshit?
I think it's all bullshit.
They don't want you to know that society's bullshit.
I don't want you to know that. I think it's just because we're more like awake than people.
Yeah.
Like I'm not woke, obviously.
I mean, I'm pretty enlightened.
I'm like really enlightened though.
Yeah.
So.
I will say, when you brought up forgetfulness, the first thing I thought of was before the does eat oats and mares eat oats. Was I heard somebody say that the reason that anybody is forgetful when people have memory issues, apparently the biggest issue there is actually not memory. It's awareness itself. It's that people aren't paying attention when things are happening, so they're not actually storing the memories.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that their memory's not working; it's that you were never aware enough to remember it in the first place.
Yeah.
So, but of course, there are people with real memory issues.
Yeah.
But most people just have an awareness issue where they're actually just not paying attention. So that's why they can't remember it.
I think that makes sense.
I wonder if in your case, the bruise might have had some kind of impact.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like when somebody says, I forgot your name.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I forgot your name.
Right.
It's like, I think the reason everybody's afraid to ask that question, especially if it's somebody that you've conversed with a lot.
Yeah.
I think the reason people are afraid to ask that question is because what truly comes across to the person that you say that to is, oh, I'm really sorry. Your name wasn't important enough for me to actually remember it.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it the 50 times that it was said tonight.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it the other times because I don't care.
I don't care about anything that you're involved in or what you're about.
But now I'm deciding that it's somewhat important and I would like to know it.
Yeah.
So, good for you. Congratulations to you. You get blessed with a person like myself wanting to know your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going out of your way to ask.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Even though you did that when you first met them.
I'm doing you a favor.
Even though you did that earlier.
Have you even listened to my podcast?
Have you even heard of it? We talked about you in it and what your name was. God.
Yeah. We read your social security number aloud, too, so don't worry about it.
We'll edit that in post, though.
We'll edit that in post. But anyway, Lamar.
Yeah.
I'm beat.
You had a long day, huh?
I am a tired dude.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to enlighten the listeners with?
There was on the docket I have one thing.
Okay.
That I could share here.
What do we got? What do we got, Lamar?
I just wanted to address something that has been bothering me for a second.
Yeah.
And that is the use of a word. People have been saying this for a while, and I actually had to look it up.
Okay.
To see what it was. But people say quality.
Quality.
Yeah, like they're talking about food. Oh, yeah. That's
hey, did you see my new shirt? It's quality.
It's a quality shirt.
Okay.
Or this is a quality restaurant.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but growing up, there was always a modifier there in front of that, like a good quality or bad quality.
Yeah.
The quality itself.
High quality, low quality, medium quality.
Medium, extra medium.
Yeah.
Some kind of a qualifier that tells you what kind of quality it is. Because, qualities are like characteristics, right?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of qualities do you have? Like, oh, well, I'm hilarious, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like Adonis.
I mean, that's what I tell people my main quality is.
I'm a really funny guy, and I'm like really humble.
And I'm really great. I'm really humble, and I also have this podcast that like a lot of people listen to.
We have 500 downloads.
500 downloads, and we're really good.
And we're really humble.
We're we're good because we're so humble.
We're awesome because we're humble.
We're incredible at it because we're so humble.
But I wouldn't say like, oh, you should check out our podcast. It's a quality podcast.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'd have to say it's a high quality podcast.
It's a good quality podcast.
Or it's a decent quality.
We're humble.
It's a humble quality. So I had to look it up because I keep hearing it and I'm like, am I just wrong?
Yeah.
So I looked it up on the Merriam-Webster dictionary here. I'm just going to quickly read here what it is. Quality, peculiar and essential nature. An inherent feature. That's maybe what I was thinking, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or capacity or role. Degree of excellence. So this is number 2. Degree of excellence. So number 1 is inherent feature or essential character. That's the kind of one. So apparently number 2 actually does say superiority in kind. Quality.
So quality...
It can mean either, apparently.
So the word itself, quality, can mean superiority.
It can mean better.
Okay.
Yeah, it can mean better. So I've been wrong this entire time.
So that's the second definition, though.
But it's the second, so I'm not sure if that means anything. But this is Merriam-Webster, so it's a fish.
Yeah.
This is actually real. So I guess I could say we have a quality podcast.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't like the way that sounds.
But you can also say, instead of saying like the specific color of tank flap you have.
Yeah.
You can say, I have a tank flap that is a color.
Right.
Right.
I have a color tank top.
I've got color.
What is it?
Yeah.
What kind is it? It's quality.
It's quality.
It's quality color. What color? Quality.
It's a quality color. What kind of quality is it? Because if it's not equality, I don't want anything to do with it.
We don't want it if it's not equality.
We don't want if it's not equality. Well, so what are some other words that we could use with this? Like,
it seems like a way of being kind of obtuse in your way of speaking.
Like, what is another word? Like a descriptive word, So you got color, maybe
glamorous.
Maybe like I'm feeling an emotion right now.
Verklempt.
What emotion do you feel? I'm feeling emotion.
I feel emotion.
What emotion do you feel? Emotion.
I just said emotion.
Yeah. No, I watched this movie the other day and it gave me emotions. What kind of emotion? Just emotions. General emotions. It's not very descriptive.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as saying
those flowers are beautiful. I love the color.
Yeah. I love the color. Oh, what color were the flowers? They were colors.
The colors.
They were.
I love the colors.
They were a few different colors. Yeah. They were great.
I thought that was odd, but I wanted to let everybody know that
I think that's odd as well.
Apparently, you can use it that way, though. Just I don't think I will.
But it's the second definition of the word.
It's the second one.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't really even count, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, we need to talk to like a linguist about this or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you think the second definition will become the first definition eventually? Like,
I wonder. I mean, there's so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is language anymore? It's kind of like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all kind of like whatever is conscious right now.
All I know is life is chaos and nothing makes sense. So,
Yeah.
Whatever's that.
What are you going to do? Well, yeah, we should probably give her the old yurt.
Yeah, let's give her a yurt.